Welcome back to our QuickBooks Online training. As you can see, I'm going to use the Craig's Design and Landscaping Services sample company provided by Intuit to demonstrate how to access and use the Customer Center here in QuickBooks. So you have a couple of ways to get here. You can go Customers and Leads and then click on Customers, or you can go Sales and click on Customers. And either way, we're going to end up in a nice customer center. Now, let me just show you the difference here between the two. If you click on Customers from Customers and Leads, it's limited. You're not going to see as much information and data as you will in the other customer center, but you still can access all of your customers from here. Personally, I like to edit my menu and remove the customers and leads because I'm not going to use Intuit's marketing. I'm not going to use their MailChimp, so I don't need that. So instead, I like to access customers from sales and customers. And if you want to access this even quicker, if you're using customers a lot, you can always click the little bookmark and have your customers bookmarked right here. So in the customer center or the sales center, call it what you will, we have several tabs that we can explore, but right now I want to focus on this Customers tab. First, I want to point out this really cool bar along the top. This is just a tool to help you quickly sort the information that you probably are looking for when you come to the Customer Center in the first place. So if you issue estimates, they would be here if you had some outstanding, and it shows you how many estimates you have and the dollar value. This is unbilled income. And so what that means is if I click on this, we can see our unbilled activity. It means transactions where we have marked that we paid an expense and we've marked that it's billable to the customer, but we haven't actually billed it yet. So when I clicked on Amy's Bird Sanctuary, I was hoping it would take me straight to our unbilled activity, and instead it did not. But if you wanted to, you could have a time activity that you enter or delayed charge that you enter, and then when you create the invoice, those unbilled activities are showing right here on the side, and all you have to do is click Add, and that will add it to the invoice so you can bill for whatever it is that you've been saving up to do on a single invoice. So going back to this Customers menu, again, we can see our unbilled activities here. This one has 2 unbilled activities, and when you click on them, unfortunately, like I showed, it doesn't take you, well, this one did. This one took us straight to the unbilled activity, but I think that's because this client didn't have any other activity showing. So Amy has several things, which is why you don't just see the unbilled activity. You do see here, though, if you look at the types, a time charge is a type of unbilled activity, which is why it's there. And here he has delayed charges, which is why they're showing there as well. Okay, so then our next bar here is overdue invoices. So this is great. If you want to see who owes you money, we can also customize this. So if you wanted to see if we have their email address saved or any attachments, or if we want to include an active, which I'm not sure why we would at this point, but so we have all these pending invoices. If you click this little box here at the top, that gives us an option to do batch actions, which means taking care of all of these at one time. So we can create statements for all of these clients who have overdue invoices. We can email all of them or select customer type. Now, this isn't a feature that I've really utilized a lot, so it may or may not be useful to you, but something that definitely is useful is emailing them and creating statements when they have overdue invoices. You also can click each one and click Send Reminder. So if you want to email them a reminder of their outstanding invoice, you can do that from here as well. And then, of course, wouldn't be QuickBooks if they didn't give you 8 different places to do all of the transactions. So you can also click the drop down to receive a payment, create a statement, create an invoice, create a sales receipt, create an estimate, or make them inactive. But again, if we click all of them and click email, it's going to open up your email app, which I do not want to do in this demonstration, but you do have some cool options there to do everything all at once. Now, if we click the gray bar here, it's going to bring up all of our open invoices and credits. And again, You can sort by open balance, you can sort by company name, or you can sort by name. So anything that has these little arrows, like they're carrots, I guess, is an indicator that you can sort. Anytime you see this cog icon, it's an indicator that you can adjust the columns or change the settings. If you look here at this, I don't know, square with an arrow, this is for you to export, so it immediately downloaded those to Excel, or you can print this page as well. All right, the last one here is recently paid. So if I click on this green bar, I'm going to see invoices that were recently paid in QuickBooks Online. Now, again, we have this customer types option, and we can do a new customer type. So let's say we want to organize this by, like, I don't know, monthly recurring clients, for example, whatever it might be. It's going to depend on the type of business. And then maybe we want project clients. I don't know. Maybe there's something that we want to track, right? If you use this, you can always click the drop down to make it inactive or click edit just to type. So if I go back here to my customers, I can batch select them, and like it shows here, we can select the customer type and hit apply. And again, it's just giving you ways that you can sort reports, or you can easily find things and group things together here in QuickBooks Online. I just want to show you the options, and then that leaves it open for you to figure out how best to utilize, or if it makes sense to use it all. Now, just like with the chart of accounts, you can also import your customers. So if you have a client who's transitioning from another accounting software, or maybe they've been making their sales through Etsy or Shopify or another platform, and you want to actually import the customer list, you can just click here on Import Customers, follow the prompts. There will be a sample CSV file that shows you how to format the file, and then you can actually import all the customers at one time. Now, we also have this new option that didn't used to be here that says multiple customers. So if you click on multiple customers, this is pretty cool. You can actually create, let's do customer 1 and customer, can't type, customer 2. You can create multiple customers at a single time. So I'm just going to put in some of this information. Now, you don't actually have to put all of the information. You don't have to put every single thing. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. If only I could type. It won't let me just go back to where I missed it. Okay, so I'm going to put some of these in here. Now, you also can customize the columns, like facts. I'm going to remove that. I don't think anybody does that anymore. We'll take that out. We don't ever need opening balances. So again, you can customize the columns if you need to, and then go ahead and hit save. And now it's going to create multiple customers at a single time for me, which is pretty awesome. We'll give that just a minute to go, and then I want to jump back into here and show you, I wanted to see what other options we had here. So it says action create. I'm not sure if there's a different action that it's ever going to have. I only have the drop down for create. I also wanted to click on shortcuts. If you aren't familiar with QuickBooks Online shortcuts, here's an easy screen grab. You could take a screenshot of this. I'll also put it underneath the video. But you can do some things faster in QuickBooks without having to click all the time. You can actually use these shortcut keys. And so it's nice that they put these in here. There's actually a lot more shortcut keys in this as well, so I'll be sure to include those under the video. All right, so again, to get to our customer center, I bookmarked it here, but it's under sales and then customers. You can, let's go here. There we go. You can do batch actions for your customers here from this list. You can search by typing in a customer's name, and it will pull them up if you have a client with a ton of customers. And then once you're within an individual customer, let's talk about what you can see and do here. So you can always edit your customer by clicking on edit, make any of the changes that you'd like to make, and you'll notice there's little pictures up here and these little icons. So see how this payment icon is like a rectangle with a check mark? So I'm going to scroll to the top. If I just wanted to jump straight to payments, I can just click on the little icon above instead of scrolling. So that just gives you, again, more ways to use QuickBooks more quickly. All right, we also have this new transaction button. Everything we can do for a customer, we can select from this new transaction button. Now let's talk about some of these other menus. We also have statements. So if we've ever created any statements for the customer, they'll be listed here. If we have any recurring transactions set up for the customer, they'll be here, or you can create one. So if we want to create a recurring invoice, for example, we can do it from right here in the Customer Center. Customer details is just going to show us all those details in an easier to view format, as opposed to clicking on edit and scrolling down. And then finally, we have a whole column for late fees. If you want to turn on late fees and enable them, you do have to set that up under account and settings. But if you do turn that on and you're using that feature, then any late fees that you've assigned to the client will be listed here as well. So if you want to add notes, the last thing I'm going to point out in our Customer Center, you can add notes about the client. That's here in this edit section, but again, they give you another place to access that. So this will say test notes. I'm going to hit save. And so you'll see it right here. So it's great to use if there's something that you quickly want to see about the client at a glance that you haven't already captured with tags or with assigning the customer type. As you can see, QuickBooks is getting really robust in how you can track information about every single person you do business with, whether it's a customer, a vendor, employees, you name it. They're giving you a lot of ways to track different data and turn that data into customized reports. All right, so this little three-dot icon, by the way, is your quick links. And again, we really don't need more ways to access all the things. And of course, here's your gear icon, which is to change the columns. So if you need to change any columns, you can do that right here as well. And then you have the option, once you set it the way you like it, to click Save as Default. So that way you don't have to edit the columns every single time. So that was just a quick overview of our Customer Center. There's a lot that you can do here in the Customer Center, and it's an excellent tool that Intuit is providing to just kind of store all that information that you have about the customer in a single location.